Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got a video for you from Justice Sanders in Washington. And these people are all angry, and they've all been doing illegal things, and they want to be paid for it. So I'll let you guys watch.
All right, good afternoon to both parties. Ms. Myers, Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez. So we are here in case number 25S000066. We are going to be having a trial today for the amount of $7,871.56. Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez, if you could just unmute for a second. So, Ms. Myers, you're aware that the value of $7,871.56 is being sought against you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So how we're going to proceed is, I believe that I only got exhibits from the plaintiffs. Were you able to pick up your copies as well, Ms. Myers? Pardon, what'd you say?
I was not able to, unfortunately, no.
Okay. All right. So I have documentation from the plaintiffs in front of me. How it's going to work is that Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez, you're going to be able to go first. You're the ones bringing this matter. I'll allow you to testify for the value that you are requesting against Ms. Myers. I have the exhibits in front of me. Please, if you could refer to the exhibits and tell me which ones to look at as we're going through this trial, that'll make it a lot easier, and I'd appreciate it. If you have any witnesses that you wish to call at the end of both your testimonies, you may do so at that time. When you're done, Ms. Myers, you will have a chance to make your side of the argument. I'll listen to your side, and then as well, if you have any witnesses to call, you may do so after your own testimony. Following your testimony, we'll allow Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez to make a short statement. I just ask that both parties that you just address me. Please don't address each other. I'm trying to keep this cordial. I don't want this to turn contentious. I'm just here to listen and be the middleman. So just only address me, please. I apologize ahead of time. I will be not interrupting, but I guess interjecting, asking questions here or there if I need some clarification. So just please be prepared to answer some questions for me so that way I can have an informed judgment at the end of this. When I'm done, I'll just go ahead and offer my judgment, and that will be it. Let me just, sorry, 1 second, grab a piece of paper really quickly. Does anyone have any questions in regards to today's trial?
No, ma'am.
Anything, Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez? Okay. All right. So we are going to go ahead and start with your testimony. So who will begin in their testimony? Jamie or Jada?
I guess I will.
Okay. All right. So could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Jada Gonzalez Reyes, spelled Gonzalez.
Thank you. Please begin with your testimony.
We were living before at 19th Avenue here in Longview. At the time when we were living there, Miss Myers and at the time had a boyfriend that we know was kind of homeless and didn't have no place to live. She had a young child at the time, and we did not want the young child sleeping on the streets or anything. So we offered to bring them into the home. Bring them into the home for the baby safety and not having to live on the streets. She stayed with us for a while. We decided to go ahead and move because we needed a bigger place. And we offered the house that we were staying in to sublease it to her son and her boyfriend at the time. So they had a place to live because it was going to be hard for them trying to find a place. So my husband agreed that they can stay there, take over our lease at the time, and just pay the monthly rent and the utilities when it comes and everything. They were doing that with no problem. We had no concerns or anything. They took over on October 1st, and that's the Washington residential lease that I put in here.
And that's a lease that you just downloaded off of freeforms.com.
Yes, correct. We had they signed it, we signed it. They agreed to go ahead and just pay the rent that was supposed to be and everything was going good. And then I get a phone call on January 8th of this year telling me that one of my good friends' brother was shot, which was her boyfriend at the time. I was out of town. I get back into town, try to find out what happened and everything. I'm still kind of clueless. I'm only getting bits and pieces from everybody of what exactly happened and everything. And it's like, we can't have this in this children's neighborhood, this and everything. So we gave them a notice saying that her and everybody needs to leave out of the house. We gave the property manager who does the property manager of that property notice that we were going to vacate and take everything that we own out of the house by the end of the month.
What month was that?
January.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So we filled out the form. I called them. We filled out the form, emailed it to them. I believe it's in here. Yes. On one of the.
Okay. Let's see it. Move out date requested by Jamie A. Gonzalez.
Yes, that we were vacating at the end of the month. We'll be turning the keys in and vacating the property and everything. So we'd let them, Dakota or Miss Myers and the parties that was there know that what we were doing and that they had to leave. Then all of a sudden the next day, the people that manage the property, they sent out three sets of form, the same form, but 3 different ways. They email it, they mail it, and then they post it on the door of the property to make sure that you've got the notices that they're giving you.
Okay.
So we got the email saying that that we have 10 days to comply or vacate the property because we are violating our lease, which we were, but we were trying to help out. We thought we were helping out a friend. That we have 10 days to comply or vacate, which is like gives us till the 20th of January to comply to their demands, or we would face eviction. And then I believe it's the following day, we got another notice saying that we have a 30-day notice to terminate our lease because of everything that was going on at the property.
Okay.
They also did the same thing with that one. They posted it up on the door. They mailed it to us, as well as they emailed it to my husband's email. So Dakota, Miss Myers did know that she did have to vacate. We've tried to get we got the rest of our stuff out. We were trying to clean up as what we can, but every time we go down there to try to comply with the property managers, she kept calling the cops on us and we had to leave. So we told her that she had to go because of the termination from the management property, and she didn't want to leave. She didn't leave the property until February 7th, which caused another round of not late fees, but rent due for the month of February. And that's so we're seeking for us, because they had to, when we all vacated and everything, and they finally took over the property, through all the pictures that I sent, you can see the damages that were done with all the trash in the house, and we could not get that out because she wouldn't let us do anything to help clean so we can get our security deposit back. So we also lost that as well.
Okay. So I hear your story. I did actually look through all of this because I have a few questions, but I just want to, I guess, follow up really quickly with what you said, that you wanted to get your security deposit back. So that's why you wanted to clean and everything. But I just want to reiterate that this statement from Catlin says that the reason why you lost your security deposit is forfeiture deposit for unauthorized tenants and animals. It's not because it wasn't clean, it's because you broke your lease agreement.
I'm sorry, which one was you looking at?
So the final closing statement from Catlin that
Oh, closing
I
statement.
was, yeah. You're
Yeah.
stating that she didn't let you in so that you could clean, so you couldn't get your deposit back. But I'm telling you the reason why you lost your security deposit. It says forfeit deposit, unauthorized tenants and animals. And you yourself stated that you were violating your lease. You knew you were.
Yes, but we also had a 10-day grace period to rectify it so that we don't lose our security deposit. And Miss Myers refused to leave when we all got the notice.
But you had already been,
They gave us a 10-day notice to comply or vacate
I'm not quite
so
sure
that we
that
don't lose our security deposit.
I don't think it says, I don't think it says in here. I don't think it says in here that if you comply within 10 days, you wouldn't lose your security deposit. I think it says here 10-day notice to comply or vacate. I'm pretty
So
sure.
the thing is though, if she would have vacated it within the 10 days, like she would have done so, we wouldn't have lost our security deposit. But because she stayed over in the house, that's why we lost it. That's what they told us.
Okay, I'm just looking at this documentation. And it looks like it just pretty much says here that if you comply with your rental agreement law, vacate, sorry, so it says here that pretty much that it says that if you rectify this, then you will not need to vacate, but if you do not, then you're going to be terminated, which is the subsequent 30-day notice to terminate. There's nothing in here that says that you're not going to lose your security deposit, because I think at that point, your 12 months of violation of the lease made you lose the security deposit. And Ms. Myers, please don't nod your head, because it seems like you caused a lot of damage in the apartment as well. So just keep your stuff to yourself, please, or else you can turn off your video feed.
I'd rather turn that off.
Sounds great. Thank you. All right. So I'm a little confused about that. I guess I understand that the reasoning behind why you rented it out, but you knew you were in direct violation of your lease. You just downloaded a form offline.
Yes.
So it's interesting that you're trying to get money back when you yourself knew you were violating your lease conditions for a whole year.
No, it wasn't for a full year.
Okay, so it's October 15th, 2024 is when she moved in, and January 10th, 2025. Okay, so it's October, November, December, January. So I apologize. So 3 months.
4 months.
Yeah. Okay.
May I say something if it's possible?
In 1 second, sir, I do
Okay,
need to
yeah,
swear
that's
you in.
fine.
So absolutely, you have every right to talk. I just want to make sure that Ms. Gonzalez is done. And then yes, you can absolutely say what you need to say. I would love to hear your side of the story. Okay, so I guess I want to ask, so you sort of go ahead and sublease your apartment, even though you know that you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you send in a notice to move out. It says here that your desired move out date is January 31st. Miss Myers does not move out until January or February 7th, which causes you to incur a February rent because obviously she went into that. And then there was no cleaning done upon her leaving, and you're stating that you were unable to clean yourself as well because she would not let you into the apartment without threatening to call
The police, correct,
the
ma'am.
police, or she did call, but okay. So can we please walk through this
Yes, I found it.
final closing statement? Okay, so your original security deposit's $1,895. You lose that because of unauthorized tenants and animals. The 10-day notice to comply is the notice you got, so they're charging you for it.
Yes, ma'am.
the closing WSG, so water, sewer, and gas. So essentially that was not paid by Miss Myers when she was living there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I see that, yes, from the city of Longview. And then February rent for 7 days, it's prorated. I see that. The move out cleaning, so there's a charge for that because nothing was cleaned, so they
Yes, ma'am.
charged you for that. The trash haul out, they cleaned it out, obviously had to put the trash into something and take it to,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, to actually get the trash out. The wall washing, just based on the condition of the apartment, and the windows still repaired due to unreported issue. Okay, so that's just pretty much the breakdown that you're
Yes, ma'am.
looking for, correct? So you're looking for $7,871 though, so it looks like the total charges right here, if you just look, the charges is $6,412.65. So where are you getting? Oh, you're asking for an additional $2,000 on time spent? What is time spent?
We're actually supposed to be out. We're supposed to be at work, so we had to take time out of our jobs to come to court for this.
And you earn $2,000 in a day?
Between me and my husband.
In one day, you earn $2,000?
This is 2 days, for today and for the last time we had to go to court.
Okay, so
Or
in 2 days, well, your court started at 2:30, so you would have missed maybe half a day of work. So for half a day of work for you and half a day of work for your husband, if we go to that extreme, these are usually just 30-minute to an hour and a half proceedings. So in about 30 minutes or half a day for the last proceeding, half a day for this proceeding. So about a day each for each of you. So each of you would earn about $1,000 for a day.
no, you about 500. My husband makes about $500 a day for one route.
Okay.
For part of it.
Okay. So even if you take out that $2,000 though, it doesn't equal to the $6,412.65 that you were charged. So what is additional here?
Not sure. We'll find that paper.
Because if you were to take $6,412.65, which is what they charged you, and add the $2,000, that would be $8,412.65. So are you not asking for something?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, because part of the window seal is from my children.
Okay, so you're just not asking for the windowsill.
Exactly. My children did that, and I don't want her to pay for something my kids did.
Okay, so essentially, if you're not asked, so apart from your time spent that you're asking for reimbursement, if you're looking at the total charges from Catlin Properties, it's $6,412.65. And if you subtract the windowsill of $541.09 that you said your children cost, the total really that you would be asking for is $5,871.56 minus your $2,000 that you're also asking for reimbursement for employment wage loss. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
I just subtracted out the windowsill. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Gonzalez, would you like to speak as well, sir?
Well, I just wanted to.
Wait, sir, I just, if you do, I do need to swear you in. That's just it.
Okay.
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Jamie Gonzalez Reyes, Gonzalez Reyes.
Thank you, sir. Could you please start with your testimony?
Well, the only reason we let them to stay was because the baby. When they come to us and they ask us to stay, they actually wanted to stay in the backyard in a tent. Winter was coming. I don't feel comfortable having a baby sleeping outside in a tent. That's the reason we allow them to come and stay inside the house. We didn't thought that this was going to be a big issue. I understand our mistake, and I totally understand the mistake we made by letting them stay with us. But we did it with a good intention, not to let them be homeless and not to stay in winter outside in a tent. They didn't have a place to stay. And also, when she and the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend came, we talked to them and tell them that they couldn't have more people in the house. It was just for them, and only for them and the baby, not nobody else. But they started bringing more people and friends and family members to live with them at the house. They also knew that we couldn't have animals, and they bring animals into the house. So that's what I wanted to say and make it clear. We was trying to help. That was our whole point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Ms. Myers,
Yes, ma'am.
turn your feet on, please. All right. It's time for your testimony. Do you swear to tell the whole, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Dakota Myers, Meyers.
All right. Please begin with your testimony.
So when me and my ex-boyfriend, Gary Johnston, moved into the house, it was October 1st is when they finally got all their stuff out. The house was a complete mess. They did not pick up after themselves when they left. The house was completely destroyed. I had to sit and scrub those walls for over a month to be able to get it to where it was. The damages to that house were from them. I don't understand how I'm having to pay $2,000 for their loss of work when I also lost work as well to be able to be here. So that's not fair. I was not living in the house past January 30th until March 8th when I got into my home. I was living in a hotel that was in Kelso with my son. So I was not even in the home. They made it physically impossible for me to be able to get all my stuff out in an orderly fashion without them coming over and harassing me. They did it 10 times that I had to call the cops on 3 different occasions. His name was Detective Gibbs, was one of them. And then there was an officer, I'm trying to remember his name, but there was another officer who came by because they came into my home when I was not home and stole my belongings. They ripped stuff out of the walls. They took the garbage that was in my garbage can in the bathroom, dumped the garbage on the floor and left it there, but took the garbage can. They took the shower head. They decided to take every screw, big nail out of my walls and took all my stuff off the walls that day. When they put the 10-day notice on my door, I immediately went to Catlin Properties about it and let them know that there were people living in the home, that 10 days with a child and all the belongings, because my ex decided to take off with them and not help. They consistently said that they were trying to help. They weren't. They didn't even offer to help. I asked for help and they told me, no, it's not our business anymore. You just need to get out. That is what they kept telling me. And I told them, how are you expecting me to get all of our belongings, including his, out of the house in 10 days? So when I went to Catlin Properties, they told me to change the locks and that they were going to place a 10-day notice and a 30-day notice on every door. The 30-day notice was going to be placed on my door specifically because 10 days was not enough to be able to get all the belongings out of the house. The 10-day notice only had their names on it. Mine and Gary's were only on the 30-day notice. I did not have enough time to be able to give you all the paperwork that I needed. I have documentation that I was not living there from January 30th until March 8th. I also have documentation of the file from Catlin Properties stating that the 10-day notice did not have my name on it, that the 30-day notice did. They gave me a piece of paper for that as well. I just have to pick it up. I have not been able
I'm
to
just
do that.
clarifying, the 10-day does have your name on here. It says the notice you served on Dakota and Gary is not legal, so you are included in the 10-day notice. Just because you're not the recipient on top, it's stating that you're illegally residing there. And because you are not the actual individual who should have been living there, they can't officially address it to you, but your name's on there because you are illegally living there.
Right.
Okay.
The damage, all the garbage and everything as well, I did have it picked up, but some of my belongings I had to leave there because I had nowhere else to put it. I had filled my storage all the way from tip top high. The bathroom itself, the walls were torn. The walls in the living room were torn. The ground itself was unleveled. The backyard was destroyed. And I was constantly being told from the time that we were living there from October until December that at any moment they had every right to come into my home at any moment, whether we were paying bills or not. They said it was their house, that anything that happened, like whether, her best friend's daughter would walk in at any moment, and as I'm sleeping on the couch. So I just don't understand how this is legal.
Well, let me
But,
ask, Ms. Myers, where were you living before this house?
Before this house, I was living in the community house.
Okay, so it seems like Mr. and Miss Gonzalez sort of did you a favor by letting you move into a house, correct?
Yes, but the consistent
Okay.
harassment that happened before they actually physically left the home, that was the issue. The only reason why me and my ex even broke up is because of that issue, because they kept consistently pushing and pushing and pushing. They would come into our home
I'm
while
not
we were
here to
at work.
dismiss that. Sorry.
And I don't know. There is a couple documents that if we can actually push this out a little bit further, if we're able to be able to
No.
give more documentation.
No, I'm looking at the case dates. On April 23rd, I was here and I said that everyone needs to submit it by 6/13 for trial today. You had close to 2 months to submit documentation, ma'am. I'm not pushing this out. We're already into trial. So this is it. You can verbally try to discuss anything. However, I do not have sufficient proof that you didn't live in the residence past February.
Well, that's why I'm asking if it's possible, if we do have extra
Mhm.
time, if I can file that documentation, because I was not living in the home from January 30th until March 8th.
No, I'm sorry. We're here for trial. That should have been submitted prior to
Well,
this.
then
You
I'm
had
just
2
gonna,
months.
I'll just close it now. I'll just pay. But I'm not gonna pay a consistent amount at a time. It'll be like $25. That's about as much as I can afford right now.
We're not quite there to my judgment yet. So why didn't you pay the water, sewer and gas?
On
upon
which
moving?
day?
It's not which day, it's for the month. It
Yeah,
looks like it was for billing period 11/25/24. So that'd be November of 24 when you were living there. You moved in October to
Mhm.
January 13th, 25. So even if you had moved out
It
on
was
January
paid.
30th, no, it says that a total amount was $279.26. It was never paid, and that Catlin actually had to incur that payment, which is subsequently what Mr. and Miss Gonzalez are now having to pay. That's the closing bill that's been presented.
Well, I actually have proof that I actually did pay that, which this makes no sense to me because I physically have the documentation and the money proof on my Chime account right now that states that I did pay those months. So this makes no sense from November to when, you said?
November 25th to January 13th.
So they were pocketing my money, is what you're saying.
How can someone pocket your money if you pay the city of Longview directly?
Because we didn't pay the city of Longview directly. We had to go through them. All of our bills went straight through them. It didn't go through us. None of those bills went through us. They
That's
went through
not
them.
normally
We
how
were
water,
told
sewage,
to
and
get-
gas works. Mr. and
I
Miss
just know that I
Gonzalez,
gave
when
the money
you
back
lived,
then.
No, the water and the electric bill was directly taken out of Gary Johnson's account. And when he lost his job, they just sent the bill to her. She never gave us no money. It goes directly to the city of Longview and the PUD for the electric. It was directly taken out of his account when we set it up. She's never given us any money.
Okay, so I'm trying to clarify. So when they moved in, it started coming out of her ex's account. When they broke up, maybe the payment stopped or some issue occurred. So you were receiving the bill, or was Miss Myers at the address receiving the bill?
It was still, we left it in my husband's name. That's why it says Jamie Gonzalez. But but this is the final bill that was due for that was not even due until the end of January.
Okay, so I guess how would Miss Myers know then that she needed to pay that bill if you were the ones receiving it? It was your name?
No. The bills were, we didn't even forward our mail to our new house so that she can get the bills. So the electric bill and the water bill was still being mailed to them. And I even told them, this is what the water bill will look like. It will say the city of Longview, and showed them what the bill looked like for the electric company. So that they know how much it is and how much is due. We've never took them. We got this final notice from Catlin Properties of how much the electric bill is.
Okay, so the bill was coming in your name to the property that she was illegally subleasing, and she was supposed to know to just open a piece of paper that was addressed in your name. That said City of Longview.
Yes, and we told them that we go ahead and get the city. Even if I go down there and I notice it's the water bill or the electric bill, I will open it and say, here's the water bill, or here's your electric bill, so that they have it. They're responsible for the water and the electric.
Okay, so the way that you stated that makes it seem like you were still constantly going into their house.
No, we've never gone into their house until around the 9th and the 10th when we got the notices from Catlin Properties. But
you just said if I would go in and I would see
it's in the mailbox, because she just left the mail just stack up. And I'm friends with my next door neighbor still. And he's like, you have a bunch of mail coming out, when he would see me at the school, because our kids go to the same school. So I would drive by, pull our mail out, leave. If she had mail, just leave hers there and leave the water bill and the electric bill. The mailbox is right on the front porch of the house. I would just pull our mail and leave the water bill and the electric bill.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Gary probably will keep paying the bills because it was coming out of his check, out of his bank account. When we moved out, we put all the bills on his his debit card. So everything was taken out automatically out of his bank. He never gave us cash or anything. The only money that they sent me through Cash App was the insurance for the house, which was $20 a month or something for the insurance. That's the only money I received from them, because I still paying the insurance for the house.
Renter's insurance is what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But the money was taken directly out of his bank account, and the only reason he probably stopped paying it is because he got.
Is he dead? I apologize.
No,
he
no.
passed away. Okay, he was actually not okay.
Yeah, his
wow.
Miss Mayor brother him, and he ended the hospital for a while. He never come to us like she stated that he will leave her and come to live with us. He was at the hospital for a while because of the injury that he has with the complication that he has with the.
I'm sorry. This is not funny at all, but you illegally sublet your house to Miss Myers and her boyfriend, and then Miss Myers' brother, her ex-boyfriend.
At the time it was.
And now you're trying to get money back for this. This is a crazy situation. Wow. Okay.
But we've never harassed her or anything. We just let them do what they got to do. on their property. Like I said, the only time we tried accessing it to get the rest of our belongings, we had like a little storage shed. We had to get storage shed to get our stuff out, was when Catlin Properties gave us the 10-day notice.
And another thing
You can talk, sir. Yeah.
that she was saying that we come to her house anytime we want it. She changed the lock. We can come in the house. And the girls that she's talking, that they come to the house, they are Gary's nieces. So they are family. They will come to see their uncle. That's nothing we can do. If they are their family and they want to see his uncle, we can tell them, no, don't go there, you know?
Okay. So, Ms. Myers, the cleaning fee upon move out from Catlin was $538.28. What do you have to say about that?
The cleaning fee, I am perfectly well aware that I am able to pay that one just because I did contribute to the garbage. However, it wasn't just my garbage that was there. But I am willing to pay at least, if possible, half of that, because half of the garbage wasn't mine.
Okay.
There was plenty of years that they were living there. And then immediately when they decide to move into another home, leave all their trash and garbage for me to take care of because Gary wouldn't do it. It was always on me.
Okay.
I was taking care of the house. So I'm totally fine with paying half of that bill, but I do not want to pay full because it wasn't just my garbage. I don't feel that's fair.
Wait, you're saying that Gary, your ex-boyfriend, that your brother couldn't help you anymore? And that's what you're upset about?
This was before that happened.
Okay. All right.
The garbage, there was so much of their trash that they left behind when we actually got to take over the place that it filled the backyard. There was random bikes that were torn apart. There was stuff from their grill that they left behind, garbage from the dogs that they had that chewed up the whole backyard, stuff that was coming out of the shed that I would place back in their shed because it was their belongings because I was
Okay,
trying to
makes
pick
sense.
it up. They left random paint cans and random stuff on the outside. They would come over to the house and tear down the fence so my dog would get out. Like,
Okay. All
Yep.
right. There's a trash haul out value of sorry, Ms. Gonzalez, go ahead.
The paint cans that she's talking about and the extra stuff that was in with the house belongs to Catlin Properties. We had no with Catlin Properties, you're not allowed to paint their walls. It has to stay the color that they painted. So whatever paint cans that she found there belong to Catlin Properties. Just like the bags of cement that were inside the storage, that belonged to Catlin Properties. It was there when we moved in, so we just let that stuff there.
Okay.
As far as the trash that our dogs tore up, we have a little not Chihuahua. We have a Shih Tzu and a Pomeranian. They're not going to tear up as much as her dogs that she said she had, a Husky and another big dog.
what about Coda?
Okay, please only talk to me. Thank you. Okay, trash haul out, $2,381.01. Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, go first. Why is there so much trash? I mean, I did hear Miss Myers state that some of her belongings she had to leave behind because her storage unit was full. Okay. What about, did you contribute to the trash?
Before we move out, I filled out my truck with garbage. I took it to the dump. What she's talking about, the bikes, they're no junk. I have it right now in the backyard. It's the bike. Those are my kids' bikes. The barbecue grill, I have it here now. That was my barbecue grill, and there's no junk either. So the stuff that she is saying that it was garbage is not. It's my stuff, and I already have it back.
These pictures.
All these pictures.
Can I just ask really quickly?
Yes.
These pictures, are these pictures that you, Miss Gonzalez, personally took, not Catlin?
I personally took them on the 7th of February, on the February 7th.
Okay, so
all this stuff that's in this house belongs to her.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Okay, I see TV stands, trash, shoe boxes. I see couches. I see pet crates. I see mattresses on the floor. I see
This is
Looks
all
like-
her, this is all her belongings.
I mean, I see the kitchen completely full with stuff. I don't even understand what's going on in the trash can. I see very discolored mattresses. I see drinking water bottles near a toilet. Okay, so all of this you're stating is not yours?
No, ma'am, this is all her stuff. The TV stand was ours,
Okay,
but we had no place to put it. So we offered it to Dakota and Gary, and they said, yeah, we'll take it. So it's now it's theirs.
got it. Okay.
I
right,
think there was
Miss-
something else that we offered them, and they said, yeah, so we gave it to them. But all of the trash that's in this house belonged to Miss Myers.
Okay. Ms. Myers, I sort of held up the pictures. You didn't come to pick up the exhibits. What do you have to say to the condition of this house upon move out?
I don't know when those pictures were taken, but those
What
pictures
date
were
was it, Ms.
probably-
Gonzalez?
February 7th, the last day that we
Last day.
charged for the rent.
So that was the day that before I was able to get all of the stuff out and clean it, you come over and take pictures the day that you guys come and rip stuff out of my house.
But you stated
stole my
earlier
next-
that you had already moved out to a hotel, so you wouldn't have been around.
all of my belongings were out of the house. I still had to come into the house to get my things out. I wasn't living in the home. I still had my belongings there to be able to move to storage.
Okay.
The beds that were upstairs were removed. The couch was their couch. Half of the belongings that were left in that house belonged to them. They specifically, including Gary, told me to leave behind the white stands, the TV stand that was glass. Some of the belongings that were still in there were theirs. Like half of the dishes that were sitting in the kitchen, those belonged to them. They had lended us those until we were able to get our own. We were only there for a short amount of time, so we didn't have a lot of belongings in that house. Most
So-
of the belongings that belonged in that home, like the dog crate and stuff like that, that belongs to me. But the trash and everything, I was able to pick up and put in plastic bags. The
Ms.
water
Myers,
bottle.
1 second. If all of that stuff belongs to them, why weren't you letting them enter the house and constantly calling Detective Gibbs or whoever you said to take them out of the house?
Every time that they would come over, they would sit there and call me trash. They would call me they got in my face. Her best friend Heidi literally put her hands on me. The reason why everything happened, there was a domestic violence situation. That's the whole main reason all this
And
happened.
I'm not here to talk about that. Okay. All right.
So the remaining trash that was in the house, I do take full responsibility for because I had to sit there by myself and clean an entire house that was filled with over 8 people in it that had not just me, but their 3 dogs.
Why were there 8 people in the house?
This was before they moved out. When they were living in the home with all of us in one big home before they moved to the place that's on 19th, that's 316 or something like that. There were
Okay, that's
4
fine. I get it. I just thought that you said that there were 8 people living with you.
No.
Okay.
In the time that we were only living, there was only 3 people living in the home. 3 people. And then further on, it was probably around like December, my best friend, she ended up becoming homeless. Well, she had 3 kids of her own, and both me and Gary had offered her to come over, but we talked to them first beforehand, and Jamie specifically gave us the okay. So I don't understand why they're saying that they told me no, but they gave us the okay. So it was the only reason, because they showed up to our house. And it was a whole argument because she wasn't even staying there at the moment. She came over to hang out with my son and me. When they came over, they started a whole argument and left the house saying that we needed to leave and everything because we had people living in the home before even asking. Well, she wasn't even living in the home at that moment.
How many dogs did you have?
I only had 2 dogs, but at the time that all this was going on, I only had 1 because my other dog passed away.
Okay, and Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, you said no dogs. In the lease that you yourself created, it says 1.
1 dog, but she had 2 because if you read what Catlin Property said, they wrote down what she told them was what kind of dogs that she had.
Okay.
Husky and pit bull dog.
Okay.
Husky pit bull is one dog.
All right.
It's the
Okay.
biggest dog.
All right. I think I've heard enough. I just need a little bit of time to just process the breakdown of the financials. Does anyone have any final statements? I did hear everything. I have all the paperwork in front of me. I have all the dates in front of me. I just need to go process that for about five minutes. And so you guys would just need to go into the waiting room again, and we would call you back within 5-10 minutes. I just want to calculate out some stuff. So does anyone have any final statements that pertain specifically to the cost of this final Catlin bill? I don't want to hear any commentaries about each other.
No, I don't, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I'm just, please both stay around. I'm going to just put you into the waiting area and I'll call you back shortly, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, please unmute. I just have a quick question before I begin talking about the breakdown of finances. The trash haul out. That is just confusing me a little bit because it seems like Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, you said that you had gifted some items to Miss Myers and her ex-boyfriend. But she's saying that maybe you didn't come pick them up. So I just wanted, I guess, the statement from both of you in regards to the $2,381.01. Was there nothing in the household that you had left that you needed to pick up?
No, ma'am. Everything that was in the household we gave to her, which was a couch. Because they have no furniture. It's like, here, you can have the couch.
The dishes.
The dishes we gave her. I can't even think of what I think.
But technically it was the couch and the dishes and the TV stand.
The
That's
TV
it.
stand, I'm sorry, that's what I couldn't think of. And the TV stand.
Okay, what is this? Loaded up all the wood and stones, which took 2 loads? What was
I
that?
that one I don't know, because I don't know what wood, unless they took their own wood, because they did have wood at the house, but it didn't belong to us. I don't know what stones either.
Okay, all right, Miss Myers, do you have anything on that?
The stones and the wood was definitely Catlin Properties.
Why would they be throwing away their own wood and stones?
We lived at
One
the
of
property for what,
properties.
3 years? So they probably didn't even realize they had stuff there.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out. So I'm trying to figure out. I'm just a little confused about the trash call out. And you're saying that you couldn't get everything out because you had to do everything by yourself, Miss Myers?
Yes, ma'am. I had asked for help and no one wanted to help. I had 2 hands and a 1-year-old child. I was trying to get everything out as much as I could, but I only have so much little space in a hotel room and in a storage as is with what I had to work with at the time.
Okay. Okay, let me just do one little bit of math and then we'll call it good. Okay.
May I also say something as well?
You can say a quick statement, but I'm about to impose my judgment, but you can
I
say.
also had a $1,500 deposit that was given to them as well upon entry of October 1st. And I was never given that money back. So is that possible to be able to take the 1,500 out of the deposit as well?
So, Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, what about that amount of money?
That wasn't from her. It was from Gary Johnston. And we discussed that with Gary Johnston. It wasn't hers. Gary Johnston gave it to us as a security deposit, not her.
Okay, so here's my question though. Why are you not suing Gary Johnston too? He was also part of the sublease.
Because as of January 8th, it was all on her. And then I'm not sure exactly when he was in the hospital recovering from a wound, she broke up with him. She even called the cops on him when he finally got released from the hospital and able to walk. She even called the cops on him when he tried to go get the rest of his stuff out of the house.
Okay.
He didn't
Right,
have any
so-
other further belongings in the home
Okay.
at that time because they came over to my
Okay.
house, took
Okay.
all that out.
Guys, that's neither here nor there. So he lived in the residence through January though, correct?
January 8th, yes. But this is everything after the fact, after.
But how can you say that the trash was after the fact? The wall washing damage was after the fact. The cleaning, all the cleaning issues were after the fact. That's what's confusing to me is how can you just pinpoint it on her if he lived there he was there, let's say 3 of the 4 months.
If may I say something?
Sure.
I could have cleaned the house. I could have taken all the garbage out in my truck to the dump if she will let us go in the house and don't call the cops each time we show up. I went there 2 times, and 2 times the calls were called on us. I was trying to take all my tools and all the stuff that I have, and the cops come and tell me that she wasn't feeling safe with me around. So
Okay, but that's not my question, sir. My question is
Yeah.
why is
But-
Gary not part of this if he's
because
been
he
there
was
minus 1 month?
because he was at the hospital at the time, and I was trying to tell you I could have cleaned, I could have fixed whatever I could, but I wasn't allowed to get in the house, and Gary was at the hospital, and so he couldn't do much because he wasn't there.
Okay, I'm going to impart my judgment. 1 second. Let me just go ahead and write these figures down really quickly. Right. Right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and impart my judgment right now. So this is a little bit of a messy case. First and foremost, it's messy because what it stems from is Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, you illegally sublet your unit.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gonzalez, you even stated you knew what you were doing. I do not doubt that it wasn't very well intentioned. I truly believe that you were trying to help individuals out, but unfortunately it was illegal. You were aware of it, and coming to the main point is it's illegal. So let's start from the beginning. Lost wages. I don't have anything in regards to your hourly pay. I think that you are the ones who initiated this lawsuit over honestly an illegal situation. So I think that you guys trying to recoup your finances in this situation, that was something that you had to do knowing that you would be losing some work time. I cannot award you $2,000 because there is no way to prove that amount. I don't have hourly wages, so you will not be receiving the $2,000, as well as Miss Myers. You didn't ask for anything, but you wouldn't have been awarded any wage loss repayment either. So then I'm mainly going off of the Catlin property final bill, a final closing statement that was provided by the plaintiffs dated 3/6/2025. The situation is there are essentially 2 different tiers to this. There is Catlin and Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, your agreements to Catlin. And then there is you, Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, and Miss Myers' agreement to you. So it's essentially like a 2 separate tier system.
Okay.
The $1,895 security deposit, as well as a $35 10-day notice to comply for pet unauthorized tenant, that falls into your agreement to follow Catlin Properties rules. That was not followed. You illegally sublet your apartment. There is nothing in the 10-day notice that says if you comply, you will receive your security deposit back. No, I believe that based on the 3 to 4 months of illegal subletting that I think all parties are aware was occurring, you do not get your security deposit back. You also do not get the $35 fee back. I think Catlin is in the right for holding that back. It was an illegal situation.
Okay.
So then we come down to the second tier of things, which is you two and Miss Myers, and at one point her ex-boyfriend's agreement to you. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Water, sewage, and gas, the $279.26. I think that Miss Myers was benefiting from the property that you both allowed her to use. I do think it is slightly strange that the statement was made that, hey, when something arrives with City of Longview on it, know that that's your responsibility to open. I think that usually when individuals have mail that's not addressed to them, they don't open them. So I wouldn't open mail that was addressed to you either if I was subletting from an apartment. But the statement was that you had told her to do it. There was nothing to the contrary. In fact, I believe that Miss Myers just assumed that her ex-boyfriend was directly paying that bill. I don't know if the incident between her and her brother is what cut off the payment of that bill, but still, I believe the $279.26 is what you need to be reimbursed for. Those were benefits that Miss Myers was receiving while residing in the house that you allowed her to live in. So I will go ahead and award you the $279.26. So $279.26. Then we go to the next one, February rent, 7 days. There's a statement from Miss Myers that she had moved out on the 30th. I received no documentation proving that there was more than enough time for individuals to provide evidence. Plaintiffs were able to provide me with a huge booklet of evidence. I believe that Miss Myers, if she took the initiative, would have been able to do that as well. There's also a statement that Miss Myers didn't even pick up this exhibit or all the evidence that was presented to her. So I think there was sufficient time to present anything if it needed be. So based on that, I will assume that Miss Myers did actually live, or maybe not even live in the unit until February 7th, but her stuff remained there. And how it works with houses is even if you move out, if your stuff is still there, you're still technically renting that unit because it becomes something that a property rental company cannot re-rent out because there's still stuff inside that unit. There was a statement from Miss Myers that, yes, she had stuff in there until the 7th. She just couldn't move it out. She had a 1-year-old child. She couldn't find help. Based on that information, I do believe that the prorated February rent amount for the 7 days is owed to you both from Miss Myers. So you will be awarded the $373, I believe, and 75 cents. The cleaning fee, of $538.28. I don't even know if I really need to address this. Miss Myers did say, hey, yeah, I'll split that because I could have been partially responsible for it. So I'm going to go ahead and split that $269.14. You'll be receiving that from Miss Myers as well. The wall washing, sorry, go ahead. $269.14. That's half of that value.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to skip over the trash haul out for a second to the wall washing. There was nothing really presented about that. I do see the pictures from the condition of the house. I do think it's fairly egregious. I think that the condition of the house upon move out is horrendous. I think that it looks like nothing was done. Trash is everywhere. There's lots of interesting stuff. I mean, it looks like a squatter was in the house and nothing was cleaned up. So I will go ahead and award the wall washing fee back to you of $369.26. In regards to the trash,
Can you repeat that?
$369.26.
Thank you.
And I'll repeat this afterwards. So then we have the trash haul out. I feel like this is the largest sum and also the most contentious because there's statements of, well, that was Miss Myers stating that was your couch, your TV stand, and you stating, well, we gifted it to her. I think it's also strange that, you know, her ex-boyfriend who I believe very rightfully so, isn't in that unit with her anymore, isn't coming to help take some stuff, clean some stuff out. I believe that also based on the fact that both you, Mr. and Miss Gonzalez, and based on Miss Myers' testimony as well, tried to come into the unit. You guys were met twice with police enforcement, unable to do it. I think that if Miss Myers is stating, no, that was their property, but is also putting a wall up to allow you to come in and take that stuff, that just is not, it's counterintuitive. Hey, it's theirs, but I'm not allowing them to come in and get it. Well, then what you're left with is your problem because you didn't allow them to come get it. I also don't know if some of that stuff was her ex-boyfriend's. That would just be assumptions. I don't know exactly what to do in regards to that, that value. I think that the only way I can realistically justify it is just to split the value because I don't quite understand why Mr. Gonzalez is stating, hey, I could have come in, helped and cleaned. It's not your stuff. It's not your responsibility to do that if you're subletting, albeit illegally. So I'm going to split that value, $1,785.75. Wait, no, that is not the haul out value. It's $2,381.01 divided by 2. It's $1,190.50. So I'm going to once again walk through everything that is awarded to the plaintiff in this matter. I am awarding the closing water, sewer, and gas bill that was not paid by Miss Myers. That's $279.26. I'm also awarding to the plaintiff's February rent, $373.75. I will be awarding half of the cleaning fee, which will be $269.14. I'm awarding the wall washing fee of $369.26. And I'm also awarding half of the trash haul out value of $1,190.50. The total comes out to $2,481.91. That value will be awarded to the plaintiffs. I think that I had a very huge issue at the beginning, even dealing with the illegality of this whole situation. So I think that that is the best that I will be able to award in this situation. So the principal will be $2,481.91. Before I go ahead and continue, I'm going to state that I have reviewed today's exhibits solely from the plaintiff, and I'm adopting an exhibit and accepting them as exhibits in this trial matter. Ms. Myers, you do have the right to appeal my decision. If you would like to appeal, you need to file a notice of appeal with the district court clerk within 30 days of today's date. A superior court judge will review today's trial inclusive of all the exhibits and testimony provided today and will make a judgment whether I am correct or incorrect in my decision. No additional testimony, no additional exhibits will be accepted. All that will be taken will be the exhibits provided by plaintiff and today's record of our discussions and testimony. So you do have that right to appeal within 30 days, Ms. Myers. That being said, the principal is $2,481.91. I'm also awarding to the plaintiffs the $35 filing fee associated with filing this claim. Mr. and Ms. Gonzalez, do you have a service fee associated with this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so there will be no service fee. I will also award you a 9% post-judgment interest rate. So your total judgment for today is $3,707.41. And that will conclude everything for today. Both parties will receive this judgment in the mail. Ms. Myers and Mr. and Mrs. Gonzalez, it is now up to you to work together to recoup the money. The court is now done now that you have a written judgment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does anyone have any questions?
No.
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and I wish both parties.
You know, there's this saying, I guess, that some of the judges use, and it's called the doctrine of clean hands. If you don't have clean hands, meaning if you have done something illegal, you can't get paid for doing that illegal thing. So, like, it's the person that sells a substance. Have you ever seen that video? There's a person that has sold a substance to somebody and they didn't get what they paid for, so they call the police. That was a video, I think, on Live PD, and it was hilarious because this person really thought that the police were going to help her get her money back, and they weren't. But anyway, it's kind of the same thing. You can't do something illegally and then try to seek compensation because of the illegal thing that you did. I mean, for one thing, they were storing, the people that had rented the house, they were storing all their crap there. So they were using it as a storage unit. So they were still renting it. I mean, it was just lucky that they got this person to stay there while they moved out. And they were able to keep all their garbage there. That's what it sounded like to me. And then she says, well, you know, I left after January 31st or whatever. But she stored all her crap there too. And if I rented that home, if it was my home and I rented it to somebody, I think I would get out of it. I'd sell it right then and there. I'm like, I'm not doing this. It's too much of a pain in the butt. But anyway, that's my take. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you another time.